My name is Evan Arrington. It's Buffalo Pepsi. You want to try some? Look at me. Buffalo Pepsi? Look at me. There's different flavors.
The biggest Jags fan of all time, Justin Bachman.
If you're not Schweppin, you're doing it wrong.
To be biased, but Duval. I'm your host, Frank the Tank Lopez. I'm ready to fight a kid if it happens. If one kid says one dumb thing tomorrow about Baker Mayfield or anything, I'm punching a kid. Boom!
Mr. Brotherly Love here, Chris Giacobello. I know how to turn the mics on, Dan.
That's a good thing to know.
We got it. Progress.
I'm the first lady of the Blitz, Emma Nosby.
Is it 14? Yes, Emma.
Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden is a wide receiver.
My name's Dan Dale, a.k.a. Double D.
You're quiet. I can barely hear you.
Why am I quiet? Why am I quiet?
Dan, you're quiet.
How am I ever quiet?
Here is The Blitz on 91.3 FM.
Live here from Buffalo State University.
All right, welcome listeners to The Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY Buffalo, Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State College Student Activity Fee. I am your host today for this show, Mr. Brotherly Love, Chris Giacobello, and joining me in Studio A is the man, none other than himself, Double D, Dan Dale.
Yes, sir, for 5 minutes.
Only for 5 minutes. And then over there in Studio B, we have, from my left to my right, Mr. Duval himself, Justin Bachman.
Kind of wish you didn't start with me because I have food in my mouth, but
Oh,
Duval.
I'm so sorry I didn't see that, buddy. Sitting next to him is the man, Spike.
Aloha.
And then last but not least, the ever so ethereal, the magisterial, just the majestic man himself, Franklin the Tanklin Lopez. What's up, buddy?
Screw Austin Matthews.
The pure glazing that happens on this show every day is unbelievable.
Both of you calm down.
This is like Patrick Mahomes.
Be jealous.
This is like Patrick Mahomes to the NFL.
My God.
This is ridiculous.
Be jealous. Be jealous.
Look, I think I had pretty good introductions for everyone.
I agree.
Obviously, I don't know Spike that well. We've been on the show, what, like 3 times together, maybe? 4? Something like that?
Yeah, something around there,
Yeah.
like 4 or 3.
But I'm trying.
Uncontrollable amount of glazing. Anyway.
Uncontrollable amount of glazing.
Anyway, before Frank and Dan have to leave, got some big news that happened yesterday. And that is Don Granato getting fired. Am I right, Dan?
Oh, that sounds so good. Oh, it sounds so amazing.
My guy is so happy.
It's just one case closed. It's like I didn't think they were gonna do it. I really didn't, especially after they said, "Oh yeah, Don will be talking to the media on Friday." Who's doing that press conference now? I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that my dad was just like, "Yeah, they have a press conference Friday. Why would they fire him?" This was the day before they fired him. I was just like, I don't know.
Right.
Anything could happen, Dad.
I mean, yeah, I think that was everybody's thought of just like, all right, they've already announced the media times. That means that he's staying. And they just dropped the bombshell. Kevin Adams just drops it, I think, at 11 in the morning, 10 in the morning. And
just left field out of nowhere. I did not expect it.
No, it was just really what was telling about how he came to the decision to fire Don Granato in his press conference yesterday meant everything. At 3 o'clock, Kevin Adams went to the podium to explain the firing. And oh my God, did he not hold back? I mean, he kind of did, just to be nice to Don, which is understandable. I don't see any GM just kind of ridicule a coach after a firing. Not usually, at least. Mm-hmm. But it did kind of sound like we haven't earned anything. We haven't made the playoffs. We don't deserve respect around the league. You know, like I loved almost everything he said. From what I heard in his press conference, it was exactly what I wanted to hear, that he is disappointed. He wants to get this done. There's no more time for learning. There's just time to do it and get it done. Because that's what I wanted to happen. They finally realized, oh, maybe Donnie's not the right guy. And, you know, too bad for Terry to making the stupid decision to extend him for no reason. That was great decision, Terry. Great decision. Like always, great decisions. And I'm glad Kevin made the call and said, nope, we're moving on. Because I think there's a very good class of coaches coming out, especially if Carolina does not re-sign Diamore. I just thought, oh my God, there's actually a chance, because they do have the connection. If he doesn't re-sign with Carolina, I mean, long shot that it is, he could come to Buffalo. There's a possibility. I mean, there's a possibility the Pittsburgh Penguins can be looking for a new coach. There's a possibility that, who even knows, Washington maybe. I mean, even though they made the playoffs, it was negative 34 goal differential.
Twitter, it was like the highest.
Yeah, that's not a good goal differential for a playoff team.
Sounds like the Vikings.
Right, yeah. So basically, it was just music to my ears. It was finally something I've been talking about for a year and a half, year and 3/4, almost 2 years. June would be 2 years. And just to finally, after all the times that I was ridiculed, I was made fun of, I was shut down by a couple of my co-hosts. I mean, in the past, I mean, Harrington was very against it. Joe was very against it. Tanner was kind of against it, but you could see the point. Frank was even against it for a little bit. I mean, mostly everybody who was on the show before this core group basically looked at me and went, ha, what an idiot take. And then 2 years later, it comes to tuition where it's like, I was right all along. This was just 2 years of waste and 3 years of utter bull from the Sabres organization. So it's just nice to get one book closed. I mean, now I will be moving my sights to Kevin Adams. Kevin Adams is on a 1-year timer. If he is not fired next year, I've already said this to Chris and Frank as a joke. Legally, this is a joke. I do not want to I don't want any legal repercussion for saying this. I will burn down KeyBank just so we can get a brand new everything.
Now, these are all hypotheticals.
All hypotheticals.
Just hypothetically burning it down.
Right. Burning it down in my mind. All right. Because, my God, if Kevin does not live up to what that press conference was, which was probably the best press conference I've ever heard him give, where he's like, we got to get better. We're not here to be young anymore. We are old. We all have play experience. You know, there's no more excuses. We got to get good players. We got to get good signings. We got to get good draft. I'm like, go off, dude. You got a year. I mean, you convinced me for a year, maybe. I know the coaching, your coaching decisions haven't been the best because his coaching decisions have been to keep Ralph Kruger for a year after in 2020 to 2021, then bring in Don and then have him for 3 years before firing him just yesterday. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm excited to look at all the veteran coaches that are out there. I mean, Lindy's out there. I already mentioned 2 others that could be out there. I mean, there's a bunch that can happen. It's actually making me hopeful for once. It's actually like, hey, we're not doing a first-time freaking coach anymore. We're not going to have a coach who, after he's done with the Sabres, doesn't coach anywhere else in the league. Because if you look at everybody after Lindy Ruff, no coach who has taken over for the Sabres has coached anywhere else in this league. So that means they are utter bums in this league. So it's nice to hear, oh, we're actually going to get a guy with experience now? Finally, something got through your thick skull, Kevin Adams. Finally.
That's actually interesting. I didn't know they hired coaches with no, like, NHL team coaching experience?
The last one who had coaching experience, well, it wasn't all of them, but really, Ralph Kruger only coached 48 games, which isn't even a full season, about half. Little bit more than half before he got signed by the Sabres. And then Dan Bialsma, who was a Stanley Cup winning coach, made sense to bring in. He just didn't really work out. But the point of that nobody has coached after they've been with the Sabres is really telling that kind of the rest of the league either knows they suck or knew they were on the downhill. And it's just the Sabres were the joker. I mean, really, it was just like, you got every other playing card in the deck, and then you land on the Sabres, which is the joker, and you're like, how'd that get in here?
Oh, man.
So, I mean, in all honesty, it's nice to finally get this chapter closed, move on to a new one. So don't worry. The Dan rants aren't going anywhere. They're just not going to be about Don Granato anymore.
It's going to be about a new coach.
It's going to be about Kevin Adams.
All right. Next coach to get fired in Buffalo. Adios, Sean McDermott.
I agree. Sean McDermott's gone after the season.
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
Yes. He's gone after the season.
Cleaning house here in Buffalo.
You gotta go, though.
Yeah,
Hey,
all right, Dan, we gotta go.
Goodbye. Goodbye, buddy.
Panthers are winning it all.
Bye, Dan.
Do a good job producing, Chris. I believe in you.
I'll try my best.
Moo.
Moo.
Go Orlando. Go Panthers. Go Rays. Go whatever you want. I don't really care.
So anyway,
So now there were 3.
basketball happened yesterday.
Here they go, leaving like Sean McDermott will leave the Bills at the end of the season.
They're leaving
Justin
like
has
Donnie
said.
Meatball just left.
Yes, exactly.
Like Donnie Meatball.
But
Their fault for expecting Super Bowl every single year. He was
before
there,
we
and
leave
now he's gonna
NHL
get
talk, hold up.
Not hockey.
Hold up.
Okay.
Because I see Spike in his Rangers jersey.
fired. Yeah, there's a reason it's on.
Did they win the President's Trophy, my good sir?
Oh, yes, we did.
Oh, no.
And how do you feel about that?
Now they got the curse.
No,
That,
it's
they're
time for my
out round
conspiracy theory
You are
of how I already
automatically-
touched the cup as a Rangers fan. I put my finger specifically on the 1922 Rangers championship when they won that. I don't know if they won it any time after that. I'm not a hockey nut, which is stupid because it's my team. But I touched the cup as a Rangers fan. Ergo, we'll never win it. But we won the President's Trophy, which a team should never win if they win that. 2 negatives make a positive. They're going to win the whole thing.
Conspiracy broken.
Yep.
All right. So now that the Rangers are going to get first rounded.
Yep.
On to
the Caps.
what did you want to talk about, Justin?
Oh, I know.
Basketball. Basketball, because let me tell you.
Blank skitball.
Let me tell you.
Are they in the playoffs yet?
There
or
were
no?
two. There were 2 play-in games yesterday.
Oh,
the Western Conference play-in games, and we can start. We can start with the 9-10 because I'm furious at what happened in the
one of them was
7-8.
good, and one of them was a walloping.
Where was this game at? 'Cause
So
I don't know.
So the 9-10 game was at Sacramento. The Warriors went to the Kings and got blown out. And let me tell you something.
That's the walloping.
That guy Klay Thompson,
Who has 4 rings, by the way.
that guy Klay Thompson,
He has 4.
who does indeed have 4 rings, probably ran more cardio yesterday than I think I ever have in my entire life. He went up and down that court for 30 straight minutes and got no points.
He didn't. Did he even get a shot?
He took shots.
He took several shots.
He took a lot of shots.
He put up 1. He put up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 shots.
And
didn't get a
hit 1.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't hit 1. Brother was out there.
How much is this man getting paid? Is my question.
Oh,
to not hit a single one in a play, like where it matters the most.
Too much.
Probably after that game, nothing.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. Let's go to this game. Let's go to this disappointment. Steph Curry balls out like he normally does. He had 50% shooting, made 3 threes because he's Steph Curry, had 22 points. Was a solid Steph Curry performance. Didn't hit 30, but 22 points. You'll take that from a guy who is 35 years old, right? You're gonna take 22 points from Steph Curry. Klay Thompson, 0 for 10, played 31 minutes, had 4 rebounds and 1 assist. He passed the ball 1 time that resulted in points and had 4 rebounds. Klay Thompson in a play-in game, playoffs on the line, was responsible for 2 points. And they weren't even his.
He had more turnovers than points. And he only had 1 turnover.
That's sad.
And on top of that, we had just awful shooting. Awful shooting from the Warriors. Awful. Andrew Wiggins, 4 for 11. Draymond Green, 4 for 8. It's not bad. Yeah, that's Draymond. You'll take Draymond. Jonathan Kuminga, 6 for 15. And CP No Rings, who still, in fact, does have no rings, put up 3 shots, made 1 of them, and it just so happened to be a 3-pointer. Better than Klay Thompson.
He did play better.
That's better than nothing.
That is better than Klay Thompson.
He put up double the amount of threes and made none of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just the Kings came into this game. This game was close for actually 8 minutes. And it was the first 8 minutes of the game, because at the end of the first quarter it was 31-22. And everybody's like, all right, it's the Warriors, they'll come back. Halftime, it was like 45. What was it? 45-63 or something like that?
Yeah. It was up there.
It just kept going down. It just kept getting worse. And actually, to specify, it was indeed it was actually 50 to can I do quick math? Okay, no, so halftime it was close too. It was 50-54. Oh. And then after that, the Warriors lit up 37 points in the third quarter.
Jesus.
And 27 points in the fourth quarter.
Oh, my.
And only matched it with 40 total points. So now here's a couple things about the Warriors. One, the dynasty's over.
It's done?
It's over. It's
cooked.
It's done. It's cooked. And I'll tell you why. Because you have a guy who is the 4th option, in my opinion, probably the 4th option on his team, went out there and put up 32 in Keegan Murray. Probably played the best game of basketball of his entire career. 32 points, 9 rebounds. Did not pass the ball. Not pass the ball.
Obi.
But he was just putting it up and putting them in. And then you got the classic double-double from Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox is always underrated. He went out there and cooked. And Harrison Barnes goes out there and plays basketball every once in a while. This is a team in the Kings who all season everybody was thinking, is this even a play-in team? And then they made the play-in, and they play the Warriors, and everybody's like, all right, yeah, it's the Warriors. It's the Kings. They regressed from last season. The Kings were a top 6 seed last year. And they regressed. Everybody's like, all right, Warriors got this one. Warriors ain't got it anymore. And Klay Thompson's about to be a San Jose Shark.
Not switching sports.
Draymond Green's probably going to go punch a member of the press again or something. And then all the Warriors are going to be next season is Steph Curry and Jonathan Kuminga.
It sounds like Draymond Green's going to be a bouncer somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Golden State, for Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah. Awful. Just straight up awful from the Warriors. And then we have the Lucky Lakers.
The Lucky Lakers.
Is what I'm going to call them.
I see they won by 4.
The Lucky Lakers did indeed win by 4, and I'll tell you why they won by 4. Because Zion Williamson, who was playing out of his damn mind, by the way, out of his mind, got injured with 3 minutes left in the game, and he is officially out for Friday's game against the Kings.
Wow.
Holy Christmas nuts. That free throw percentage difference is insanity.
So
Lapel's only shot 15, while the Lakers got 29.
Yep.
Was Alex Hernandez calling this game? What?
So
Jesus. LeBron and AD took 10.
Yep.
What?
This game was good. This was a good game of basketball, but here's my problem with the Lakers moving on to face the Nuggets. Zion Williamson is a significantly worse Nikola Jokic. All Zion can do is drive, shoot, and make the occasional free throw.
Yeah.
He's a layup machine. He put up 27 layups yesterday and made 17 of them. Because obviously Zion Williamson is not pulling up from the arc.
Yeah, no, he chucked up 1-3.
He chucked up 1-3.
And he never did it again.
And he bricked. It was an awful attempt.
CJ McCollum took 9.
Does Zion not? Does he not play defense? Like, does he not?
No. He plays great defense.
Okay.
He plays great defense.
His defense is his aura.
Yeah, he put up 40, 11, and 5 yesterday. And if he was in the entire game, the Lakers are not winning this game. And here's my problem with the Lakers winning this game. Now we have to go watch last year again. We're about to go watch LeBron get 4-0'd in the first round again. By the Nuggets. I can't even say again. They didn't get 4-0'd in the first round last year. They got 4-0'd in the second round. But Nikola Jokic is going to look at LeBron and say, you're not him anymore, and 4-0 him for the second time in 2 years.
LeBron, please lay over the side. I just want to go play with my horses, please.
And
I want to go back to Serbia.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why.
I just want to ride my horses.
I'll tell you why LeBron's about to get 4-0'd. Because the Lakers cannot. They can't do it. Stop any center in the league. They just can't do it. Anthony Davis might be the worst defensive center of all time. He's awful. He just gets bodied. The only time he doesn't get bodied is when the rebound is just so high up in the air and Anthony Davis is just so tall that all he has to do is hop a little bit and go up and get the rebound. That is the only thing that Anthony Davis can do is window wash. That is the only thing that he can do on defense. He can only do that on defense because centers, time after time after time after time again, have cost the Lakers games. This is why they were the 9 seed this year, or the 8 seed. This is why they were dropping all year. This is why everybody doubted the Lakers all year, because they don't play defense. They just don't. They're the Hawks of the West, and I can say that quite willingly because we also do not play defense. But at least centers are not consistently putting up 35-point performances on the Hawks. We have no defense from the arc. If your team can shoot threes, you're winning the game. That's the Hawks' MO. If your team can shoot threes, tip of the hat to you. You got it. That's why we're beating the Bulls, because the Bulls have one of the worst 3-point percentages in the league. But,
I don't know. If I see Valanciunas pull up from the top of the arc and make the first one, I'm nailing the coffin closed on the Hawks if that happens.
Yeah, you're right.
If Valanciunas takes 1-3 in the first 5 minutes and he makes it, it's over.
Yep, you're probably right. But Nikola Jokic is about to have a field day against the Lakers because not only can he play defense, not only can he shoot layups, not only can he dunk, he just never does it, but he can. What he can do is he can pass the ball. You want to know what Zion Williamson can't do? Pass the ball.
That's true.
You want to know what else he can do? He can shoot threes pretty consistently. At that, he consistently makes threes, double-teamed threes. He makes point guards and small forwards look like they're not even there and just pulls up from the arc and somehow makes it. It's unbelievable. It's the worst the absolute worst form shot you'll ever see in your life.
Oh my God.
And it goes in every time.
God, does it go in?
Every time it goes in. Nikola Jokic in this playoff series against the Lakers will have a 50-point game.
Probably.
He might even have a 60-point game. And it's unbelievable that the Lakers got so lucky that Zion went down, because now the Pelicans are out.
Yeah.
The Pelicans are out because it's Zion Williamson and everybody else that was there yesterday, a bunch of Walmart employees.
Mm-hmm.
You can convince me that none of them were on the court. And now you're in a position where you got to go into Sacramento, a red-hot Sacramento team, by the way, who just blew out the Warriors on Friday. They got to go into Sacramento. Good luck, because you're not winning that game. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. It's gonna be an awful day. It's gonna be an awful day to be a Pelican.
Random question: where is Kevin Huerter? What happened to that man? Where'd he go?
I think he got injured. I think he had an ACL tear or something.
No, rip him.
But, yeah.
Jesus, the Pelicans. I kind of forget age is a thing in basketball and all sports, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, my God, Brandon Ingram, what happened to you? And then I forget. He kind of forgot how to play basketball throughout this entire season.
Yeah,
I mean, he used to be one of their catalysts. It was Zion and him.
Yeah, no, last year he was amazing.
He was going insane.
Now
and
he's
CJ
awful.
McCollum, he's not the cream of the crop, but he used to be able to put a couple of buckets in there. And here he is sitting with 9 points. And he was, 4 for 15 and 1 for 9 from 3. I mean, with a negative 17.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Awful.
What happened to both of these men? I mean, I don't even know how old they are. I know they're not geezers, but they just fell off the deep end. I used to look at Brandon Ingram like, you know what? If the Knicks could one day grab that man, I'd be happy. And now I'm looking at this, and I am very happy we never did that, because my God, has he lost everything. Not even just his touch. He's lost the touch, the pass, the run, the walk, the strut, the talk. He's lost it all. All of it. And also, no one on that team put up more than 15 points.
Yep.
The closest was 12 by Trey Murphy III.
It was Zion Williamson and everybody else. And
when Larry Nance Jr. is the only other double-double on your basketball team in the play-in, that means you should restart from the bottom.
When Larry Nance Jr.
When Jose Alvarado outscores 2 of your starters, it's time to hit the panic button.
I think it's time.
It's time to blow it up and pray Zion doesn't leave.
You know what I think it's time to do? I know it's Thursday. I know the game is tomorrow. But light the beam. Because there ain't no way, there's just no shot, not even a chance that the Pelicans get out of the play-in. And even if they do you really want to go get swept by the Thunder? Do you really want to have that happen to you? Do you want to get swept by the youngest playoff team or the youngest number 1 seed of all time? The oldest player on the Oklahoma City Thunder is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's 26!
That's their oldest player?
The oldest player.
That's insane.
Chet, Jalen, number 3. I don't know who's on their bench.
Number 3?
I don't know the Thunder's bench, I'm going to be honest.
He's 26 years old. He's the oldest player on that team. And they're a number 1 seed. Unbelievable. So either way, no matter who wins, it's Sacramento or the Pelicans, they're going to get swept. And hot take, the Thunder are only going to win 1 series. They're going to win the first round series, and then the lack of playoff experience is going to catch up to them when they either have to face the Suns or, oh my goodness, I'm blanking, the Suns or the Clippers? Do the Suns play the Clippers? No.
The Clippers play the Mavericks. The
Clippers.
Timberwolves play the Suns.
Oh, God, that's good.
So it could
is it either team? It doesn't matter what team they play. They're just gonna.
I think like round 2, it'll be like a 5-game series, and the Thunder are gonna lose.
Jeez.
But round 1, they're probably gonna sweep because they're riding a hot hand. They're the number 1 seed. They're hosting 2 awful teams with both of their best players being injured. It ain't gonna be pretty. I mean, it ain't gonna be great. It might borderline be embarrassing. to watch the first round of the Western Conference.
Yeah,
with
honestly.
with the exception of the Clippers and the Mavs. I could see that being fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good series. The only good series in the first round for the West.
Yeah, I mean, the Timberwolves are going to
slaughter.
They're going to slaughter the Suns.
It's going to be the actual second coming of Michael Jordan is going to unleash hell.
Anthony Edwards.
Go
out there and get a bucket. But
maybe a couple.
Enough talking about the lucky Lakers and the garbage Warriors. Tonight's games, one of them, yep, the Eastern Conference play-in, first round of the play-in. First game happens at 9:30. It is my Atlanta Hawks.
You said the first game happens at 9:30?
Yeah.
And the second happens at 7?
You mean the first one happens at 7?
My bad. My phone's got him in the wrong order.
You're good. I was just helping you out, buddy.
No, you're good. First game's at 7. You're right. It's the Miami Heat taking on the 76ers. I
don't know much about basketball.
This is guy. I
don't know anything about the 76ers.
I know you don't, Chris.
All I know is Joel Embiid.
You poor.
Is that guy still out? I heard he was hurt. I don't know if he's playing or not.
I hope he's out, honestly.
I hope he plays in this one game just to get to the playoffs, and then he doesn't play after that.
I hate the 76ers. I really do. No, he is injured. He does have a knee injury.
So it looks like the 76ers are going to lose.
No. Please keep Jimmy away from the goddamn garden. Please.
Oh, no, Jimmy Buckets. No.
No.
All right.
Joel put some steroids in that knee and get out there.
All right. So here's what's going to happen tonight. The Miami Heat are walking into Philadelphia, a currently Joel Embiid-less Philadelphia team. I'm scared now that I know that this information exists. He's not out for the game yet. He is currently still on the roster.
He is.
He's there.
So he could play some minutes.
He's just slated to start.
He could indeed participate.
Oh, it says he's good to go.
He could indeed get the ribbon.
The ribbon.
He's good to go.
Participation.
Along with KJ Milton and whoever that is. Martin. It says he's good to go.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, heavens. The Miami Heat are without Terry Rozier. Everybody hold your hats. I think Miami's done. Duncan Robinson's in. Josh Richardson. Who
is so funny. Terry Rozier. Yeah, that guy exists.
Yeah, I was
the scary Terry of the NBA.
I was so hoping the Knicks are just gonna pull a magic trick and bring him over here, and then he went to the Heat and he chucked up absolutely nothing into the basket the first 3 games.
Nope, absolutely nothing.
After that, played a little all right, and then since then,
injury.
No.
Injuries.
Injury.
And being garbage.
Playing with Tyler Hero will do that to him, man.
Yeah, honestly. I don't know. This game could really go either way. If Joel Embiid plays Joel Embiid minutes, meaning like 34 to 37 minutes, I could see a pretty easy, pretty convincing win for Philadelphia. But if he goes out there and plays like 20 to 25 minutes, things could get close rather quickly. Things could become interesting over there in Philadelphia. I guess we will see at 7 p.m. And then the other game that does in fact start at 9:30, just not the first game. It is the second game. It is my Atlanta Hawks taking on the Chicago Bulls. And if you do recall earlier, I did say if a team can shoot from the arc, they're going to beat the Hawks. If there's a team out there that cannot shoot from the arc,
is it the Chicago team?
It's the Chicago Bulls. They're awful.
Yeah.
They're borderline terrible.
They're only like real 3-point shooters. Nikola Vucevic. I feel like I said Valanciunas earlier, but Vucevic, he's also their center, so that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem starts. When your center is your best 3-point shooter, you have an issue, and they didn't fix it.
Yeah.
Because everyone else on that team could shoot mid-rangers, and I guess they're just okay with that.
So a lot of injuries on the side of the Bulls, but some very key injuries on the side of the Hawks as well. The Bulls are missing Zach LaVine, which wipe the sweat off my forehead. Get Zach LaVine out of my face. Goodness. But we're also missing Sadiq Bey, who's a pretty above-average three-point shooter, and Jalen Johnson, who probably should be one of the front runners for most improved player of the year. That guy's been balling. I don't even know if he met the minutes to qualify for the award because
Dante missed the minutes by 9 seconds.
Yeah, by 9 seconds.
9 seconds.
I saw that.
He probably would have won.
He probably would have won, which is that's pretty garbage. I don't really like that rule. It should be should be a game minimum, not a time minimum.
One game the whole year.
Yeah, I know.
Played 81 games.
Played 81
9
games.
seconds.
81 games out of 82 games, and then there's a time requirement too. I think you have to play 20 minutes per game for 65 games. But the problem with DiVincenzo is that at the beginning of the year he wasn't the starter, so he was only getting 16 to 18 minutes a game for the first 30 or so games, and then he became the starter and was playing starting minutes, but his starting minutes did not match up to take the amount of time from the starting minutes and add it on to the time that he was missing at the beginning of the season. So he was shy of meeting 65 games, 20 minutes per game by 9 whole seconds.
I would be so upset.
9? You can count out 9 seconds, and that is how long Dante DiVincenzo had to play basketball in order for him to win Most Improved Player of the Year. Which
insanity.
He probably would have. He broke the Knicks all-time 3-pointers in a season record.
He did do that.
That's crazy.
Formerly held by the King of New York, Melo, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't Melo?
By the Frenchman that we shipped off in a way to Detroit for Bobon.
Oh,
Sir Evan Fournier.
Oh, my goodness.
We are slowly erasing that man from our history, and I could not be happier.
Evan Fournier was your record holder? That's awful.
He had 241 threes in a season.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, now he's gone. And we're erasing him from the history. He's off the record books.
He's off.
He's out.
He's going to redact everything about him.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Everything from his haircut to his
play.
To
being there.
To being a Nick.
To being French. Anyway.
Oh my.
But yeah.
This Bulls team, I mean, against the last game they played was against my Knicks. We're a toted defensive team, but we still went to OT with them and they put up 119 points. However, they only shot 25% from 3. So they didn't beat us from the arc. They didn't. They were just playing tough basketball and we weren't ready for that. And then went to OT, we won by 1. Who cares? It was the last game of the season. Wouldn't have changed a lot for us, just a little. But again, even when they played extremely well, they could not put the 3 ball into the bucket. They could not score it. Again, 25%. I didn't see a single player on their team when I looked at the stats right there make over 3 threes in that game. One person had 3, and that was it. So,
which is perfect. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why.
Can't shoot it.
I'll tell you why. Because Trae Young might be in the top 10 worst defensive basketball players of all time.
Wow.
I love him. I love Trae Young to death. Him and his terrible beard. But that brother cannot play defense.
So he's only offensive minded.
Oh yeah, no. And I mean, even then, his offense, his offense is just like chuck up a 3 ball, and he passes he passes the rock better than Patrick Mahomes. That guy's got eyes on all sides of his noggin. I swear. He passes the ball down low without even looking at Clint Capella, and it's just unbelievable. Guy chucks dots, which I'm okay with. He probably would have led the league in assists this year if he not got hurt for.
How quickly do you think the Hawks and Knicks would injure all of our centers because we're just both offensive rebound teams? How quick do you think all of our centers go down?
I swear Clint Capella is probably the most durable person in the league.
He always gets like 14 offense, and they're usually all offensive rebounds.
I think he's
the greatest offensive rebounder I've ever seen.
I was about to say, I think he's the league leader in offensive rebounds every year since 2019.
Which is some of the most important rebounds.
No, he's a window cleaner. I love it. I love it as a Hawks fan because Trae Young just chucks up window balls sometimes. They just bounce off. They bounce off the glass, and there's Clint Capella with the putback.
That's what I love about Hartenstein.
Just gotta find where they're at.
Yeah, no. This is gonna be a fun game. I'm glad I'm gonna be out of work and able to watch it. I'm gonna miss the first half of the Sixers Heat game, which is a little disappointing, but we're here for it. I'll be able to watch my Hawks play basketball. That's my goal. That's my goatee. That is my forte. That is my Evan Fournier.
No, you do not want it to be your Evan Fournier.
If the Hawks do win, who did you say they play? If they win,
so if the Hawks win, we play the loser of the Heat Sixers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they expanded the play-in tournament a couple years back. It used to be just one play-in game, win and you're in. The other team's just out. But
now they changed it to where if you lose, you still.
Now there's 4 play-in teams, but the lower seeds win and you're still in. The loser goes out, and then the higher seeded of the 2 play-in teams or the 4 play-in teams, the loser still gets a second chance. It's like kind of redemption.
See why
that's neat.
Why is there basketball being played on 420?
Why is there basketball being played?
I have to pay attention to the Knicks at 6 p.m. on a Saturday.
Oh,
during doing unexplicit acts.
During special deals.
While my mind is doing a business deal with the Devil's Lettuce.
Oh. Special teams.
Special players.
Special teams, special players, special players. As Stephen A. Smith once said, stay off the weed.
He said that?
He did.
He did. And you know who he said it about?
I forgot.
He said that about former Oklahoma State wide receiver Justin Blackmon of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We used a number 7 pick on a guy who had so much prowess, but boy, could he just not stay off that lettuce. He loved it. He loved him some extra lettuce. He loved him a taco with the lettuce sleeping over the sides. He loved him a burger with so much lettuce it had so much crunch it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Well,
that's basketball. Baseball exists too.
Baseball still exists.
I don't want to take everything that you guys are going to talk about in the second half hour. You guys are probably just going to look at each other. Maybe
we'll just
kiss
stare
or
into
something.
each other's eyes.
Yeah.
If you start talking about soccer, I'm gonna go get a sandwich.
No,
again.
Chris is just gonna be.
I'm not
talking
saying
to
you
himself.
can't, but I can't offer.
I'm gonna cry. So then, what are we gonna talk about in the second half?
Dude,
I mean,
don't
what?
know.
I
don't know.
Well,
we got the draft soon, but
you better not talk about that without me.
It wouldn't be fair.
I'll
we can do
throw
draft.
baseball.
Like
Yeah, you
Friday.
said baseball. God, what is there to talk about?
Oh, the show's over. All right.
All right,
we're ending an hour early. I'm gonna go grind Destiny.
Gosh,
yeah. Goodness. What is there to? How are you guys doing?
It's going to be a talk show.
Let's pull up our degree works and see how good we're doing in our classes, fellas. How about we spend an hour straight talking about our what ifs and our major trees and what we're supposed to be doing and not.
You like jazz?
Yeah. How do you feel about freeform jazz?
Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about the Rizzler Barry B? Barry B. Benson. You like jazz?
Larry Bird. A lot of NFL teams releasing new jerseys.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, the Jags.
You can tiptoe around that for a little bit.
The Jags.
Did we talk a little bit about that Monday?
I need to see what these.
Have they not unveiled them
yet?
No, they
just
haven't.
teased them.
If I don't see what these throwback jerseys are going to look like, if they are not what they used to have back in the old. So actually, I got the years wrong. They're not doing the 2000 to 2008.
So which one are they doing?
They're doing the 95 to 2000s, the David Garrard jerseys. They're doing the Garrard jerseys. They're doing the Byron Leftwich jerseys. Before he was a coach, he was actually a football player. And let me tell you a little something. He was awful.
I thought you were going to say he was good.
No, he was awful.
Can't wait till they get sued again by Jaguar.
By Jaguar? They got sued by Jaguar?
Yeah, the first time they tried to do that, I don't know if it was their first logo or it probably was their first logo. But when it came out, it was basically the Jaguar like car symbol exactly the same, but like they put color in it and they made it look like, what it is today.
Yeah.
But they just slapped that on a helmet and a jersey and we're like, we're fine. This is a different concept, which is in their mind correct. But then Jaguar was kind of like, that is literally our symbol. You just drew an actual Jaguar in it. We're suing you. So they had to change it. So now it just has like a paw swiping and its mouth is open. So that's the slight differences. That's how they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Takes one screw up, though, and they're lawsuit.
Yeah, not something we can exactly handle over there in Jacksonville.
Think they'll care. I don't think they're going to
I don't think they're going to care. Not anymore.
I'm sure they got money,
Yeah, I mean, just owning a multi-trillion-dollar car company versus a NFL organization. It's a give and take system.
The topic of NFL, I don't know if you guys saw, but I saw this like the other day. Apparently, the Eagles can't wear their home jerseys for the first game of the week.
So,
what?
I actually just saw a video about this earlier.
They're greens?
So the stadium...
like the darker green ones.
So the stadium that they're playing in Brazil, they have two soccer teams that have a very intense rivalry.
Yep.
So intense that the enemy team, I forgot the two teams. One of them's Brazil, but the other team... they're not allowed to wear their green jerseys because in the 90s they banned that team wearing their green jerseys so that way they can pick out the specific people in the crowd that are the fans of that team so they can like watch them to make sure there were no fights breaking out and they knew like who was rooting for what team.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually really smart.
That's
I thought
smart,
it was going to be. I was getting really scared. I was like, "What is this?" I'm like, oh, "Okay, that's smart."
So what they're doing is every time that there are two teams that are just using the stadium and they have green in their jersey, no matter what sport it is, they respect the rivalry. They don't wear green.
Any shade of green?
Any shade of green. So
what are the Eagles going to wear?
Probably they're all white.
Nothing.
So the Eagles are probably going to wear their all blacks.
Yeah.
And the Packers are probably going to wear their all whites.
What about the helmets? The Eagles helmets, they're all green. They can't do anything about that.
I think they got black ones.
There are certain things. I
think they do.
There are certain things that they just can't do anything about. Like the Packers jerseys have
green on it. Yeah, the helmets. Yeah.
I just found that so wild because I didn't even know that, and I was like, "Are you joking?"
that's
I was like, "You're gonna tell me they're gonna have this game in a whole different country and they can't even wear their own jersey?"
No, I mean they get to wear the all black stuff.
Oh yeah, those are sick.
What if they did? Actually, no. Yeah, that's the only way that could work.
It's the
only way that can work.
I can see the Packers bringing out their old Color Rush ones, where there wasn't even any yellow on it. It was just the green numbers.
Yeah, I think.
And it was all white, just the green numbers. But yeah, it's pretty.
It's gonna be fun to see. Nice little color clash, a little uniform experiment.
And that's the Friday game, week 1.
Oh my goodness!
So you got a Thursday game, Friday, and then
Sunday.
I think does college start? That
they
week
start
Saturday?
No. College doesn't start.
I'm a liar. I'm an absolute liar. Don't listen to me.
College doesn't start until college starts before. College starts the week before.
Yeah.
Oh, so then you'll have football games Thursday, Friday, Saturday if you watch college football, and then Sunday.
Right.
Sunday. Okay, so I'm gonna have a full platter because I'm watching Thursday. I'm definitely watching Friday. I gotta pray my Penn State Nittany Lions don't kick the bucket in the week 2.
4 or 5 months from now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be here before we know it.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
Yeah,
I cannot wait.
Cooking through. I mean, can you already believe we're in week 3 of the baseball season?
I know
that's a thing. There's already been a few couple 2-3 games played and stuff.
Yeah, they play games every day though.
Yeah, they do.
That's just insane.
Baseball just flies, man.
Yeah.
In a blink of an eye, soon I'll be watching Drew Aller sling it to. Dang it, I forgot the Nittany Lions running back. But he's going to sling it to somebody, and it's going to get in the end zone, and they're going to be wearing white or navy blue.
He's going to throw the ball to somebody.
I know his last name is it starts with an S, and I don't think it's Singletary, but I also think it is Singletary. But that's just because Devin Singletary is engraved in my mind, because that's just a really slick name that rolls off the tongue, Singletary. But I don't know our running back. I don't know college football players that
I don't
well.
either.
Well,
I study them around the draft, and every now and then throughout the season I'll pick players, but I focus hard on my Nittany Lions, and I wait for them to lose to Ohio State and Michigan every year.
Yeah, the only time I ever watch like college players is like their highlights in the draft. That's literally the only time.
Every single quarterback this draft has a Zach Wilson throw, and now everyone's scared to draft any of them. J.J. McCarthy did one. Bo Nix did one. And everyone is just clowning them because they're like, oh, they did the thing. They did the Zach Wilson thing. They rolled out and threw it 60 yards downfield. Now someone's going to draft him, and he's going to be a bust.
Yep, probably.
So now those guys have accidentally cursed and tanked their draft stock just by rolling out of the pocket and bombing it downfield just because Zachariah Mormon BYU Wilson decided to do the same thing and get on the gridiron and stink it up.
Classic moves.
Good for you, Zach. You're successfully tanking the future of any other young man that follows you.
Fire, honestly.
Good job.
What an inspirational guy Zach Wilson is.
Can we please trade him already? Why is he still on our roster?
For every 2021 first-round quarterback to be a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You want Zach Wilson?
No, I don't. But it's just going to happen. We already got Mac Jones. We
Mac
already got two of them. We already got two of the five.
You got Trevor and Mac. You want Zach?
We're like collecting Pokemon cards. This is unbelievable.
Dougie P's doing something.
The thing is,
don't know what he's doing.
It wouldn't make no sense too. Because what, do you guys have a backup after Mac Jones?
CJ Beathard's gone. Jake Lutton's gone.
So we can give you Zach.
No, there's definitely somebody. Hang on.
No,
I gotta think of his name.
And then,
oh my goodness, that guy who was the preseason MVP last year. Nathan Rook.
That dude against the Cowboys. He had like 4 defensemen draped all over him, and he just dotted it to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
Is that guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nathan,
I made a TikTok about that. I thought that was the greatest pass I've ever seen in my life.
Nathan Rook is a member of the Patriots, actually.
I would go to war. I would go to war saying that was the throw of the year in the preseason. He was getting tackled at the knees, draped over the back from about 40-plus yards out, dotted it beautifully to the corner of the end zone and scored a touchdown, and no one really talked about that play. That was absolute insanity, and I still think that was the best throw I saw the entire 2023 NFL season.
Yeah.
No, God, that throw was mind-boggling.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I ain't gonna lie to you. But he's not on our roster anymore.
So we give you
he's
Zach.
a Patriot.
We give you Zach and Mac fight out for the second.
There's no way.
Zach and Mac fight out to be Trevor's backup.
It's just Trevor and Mac. There's got to be another one. There's definitely another one.
So what do you want to give us for Zach?
Wait, what's his name? It's not CJ. There's another one. I know there's another one.
I'm gonna look it up for myself.
He just left, and then you guys just
I just know there's another one. What?
Put that thinking cap on,
is
Justin.
His name?
Put on the tinfoil.
Brother, you're asking me to think of my third string quarterback. Who's your backup?
Not Mariota.
I know it's not.
It's Kenny Pickett.
It is.
It is Kenny Pickett.
Kenny freaking Pickett, man.
It is Kenny Pickett.
Kenny hands too small Pickett.
I forgot that.
Yeah, you forgot that trade happened, buddy.
I forgot that happened. It is Kenny Pickett.
I'm still upset about it.
That's awful. That's terrible.
Imagine when Jalen Hurts goes down and then you see Kenny. I'm turning the TV off.
Oh my goodness!
Like, I'm not even watching anymore.
Kenny Pickett in an Eagles uniform. He goes out and he starts balling.
Then I'll change my mind if he does that.
I think you do just have Mac Jones and
Trevor Lawrence.
Is it really just?
I'm just them two. Probably gonna draft
the first
one in like the
2024
6th,
Jacksonville
7th
Jaguars
round.
depth chart will be released before the start of the regular season. Okay, well that's stupid.
Thanks.
I scrolled through the roster and I was just looking at the position slot and looking for the QB acronym. It only came up twice.
Oh yeah,
it's just those two.
It is indeed Trevor and Mac. That is indeed it.
And unless they draft one like late round, obviously not early, but like late, like 7th. If they somehow have like something sitting around,
I don't think we even have a 7th round pick anymore. I think we gave our 7th round pick for Mac Jones.
Well, if you just have like a garbage pick all the way in the back, just draft the young QB.
You know what we always do?
Let him be a third stringer.
You know what we always do with our late round picks that it just gets under my skin so unbelievably. We always draft like these awful players. And yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a late round pick, you're probably not great. Granted, understandable. You don't have to be. You made the NFL. Congratulations. You got a shot. Brother, if I see Trent Baalke draft one more 5'11" or under unathletic, terrible technician cornerback in the 5th, 6th, 7th, or even the 4th round like we did last year, I'm going to throw hands. I don't know with who. I don't know with what. But if I see...
What?
If I see Trent Baalke, when he went out there last year on day 3 in round 5, and he said, with the blah, 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 blah pick in the 2023 NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Gregory Jr. I looked and I was like, you know who's still on the board? You know who's like casually just kind of chilling there? He's right there. The Ravens' 7th round pick. We had a chance to get him twice. The Ravens' 7th round pick. The guy who almost led the league in interceptions last year, Geno Stone, was just chilling there. He was there. He was in the room.
Just waiting.
He was with his mother. He was there. And we picked a 5'8" cornerback out of Western Alabama.
Not even Alabama.
Western Alabama.
Western Alabama. And let me tell you, I almost blew a fuse. I looked at my TV screen and I'm like, no way. There's just no shot. There's just no way. And then we used our 6th round pick on another 5'9" corner, this time out of Toledo.
Oh, God.
I don't even remember his name. Something Brown. I think it was Don Tarek Brown or something like that.
He's irrelevant.
Awful.
Yeah, my team.
You don't need to remember his name.
My team can draft the cornerback or two. We can do that.
All right.
It's like the only thing we've ever been good at.
I think with that rant, this would be a great time to go to break.
Indeed. I got to go to work.
Indeed.
I'm gonna.
Then there were 2.
Yep.
But
We'd use this
you've
break
been
to
listening to The Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY. We will be back after this short break.
Lamine Yamal, just 16 years of age, running at Mendes, down the byline, Yamal across, and there is a 4th in the tie for Barcelona. Rafinha across, surviving the early haymaker and responding.
The Brazilian on the spot, but this is all about Lamine Yamal, 16-year-old. I don't believe it. He's attached to this ball like a teenager to a cell phone, people. Watch this and pick your jaw off the floor as you watch the promise of magic being ignited. He holds, he hesitates, then he's gone. In the blink of a bee's eye, he hits the accelerator and he is a shadow. Left. Beautiful cut back as well, outside of the foot, and a clean finish. Beautiful attack of the ball by Rafinha. I'm not sure that it gets his right foot, but he don't care. Back.
All right, welcome back to the Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY Buffalo. Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State College Student Activity Fee. That was the legendary Ray Hudson on yesterday's game during the Champions League of Barcelona versus PSG. I am still your host for this last hour, Mr. Brotherly Love, Chris Giacobello, and still with me, hasn't left me, in the other room, the man himself, Mr. Spike.
They gave me the wrong cookies. I wanted chocolate chip. They gave me white chocolate chip. I know it's not that big of an issue, but I wanted chocolate chip!
How could they do that to you, buddy? Who gave you the wrong cookies? Subway? Subway. Leave it to Subway.
All the odd ones out, fans out there.
Subway. Well, we had, what was it, like five of us?
Yeah.
Then there were 2.
2 left in the first 5 minutes, and Justin has to go make some Rio de Janeiro, so he has abandoned us as well.
So, just us 2, Spike?
It is.
I know. Well, We both love football, obviously.
We do very much love football.
But we just talked about that.
Yeah. I also I stayed in this room so you didn't have to sniff buffalo chicken and garlic aioli.
I mean, that's fine. That's my favorite, bro. Garlic aioli.
It's so good.
Oh, my God. I get the sweet onion teriyaki, the rotisserie chicken.
Ooh.
You add the garlic on that. Oh, my God.
That sounds delicious.
Chef's kiss.
Terrible NFL pregame meals.
Yeah, don't eat that before a game.
Don't eat that before a game. Or do. Lamar Jackson eats a shrimp Alfredo before every single game, apparently, according to him. Speaking
of eating before games, I remember there was this one time in high school. God, it was like 10 years ago. Before a game, I literally had Wendy's. I had a spicy chicken sandwich. I was just like, you know what? I'll be fine. Like, I'm games in like an hour and a half. Like, I got this. Bro, when we started warming up, oh my God, I felt it in my stomach. I was like, I shouldn't have ate that. I shouldn't have ate that. And then after that day, it's just when I stopped eating fast food before games.
My one, I'm very sure in my lifetime there's been a couple others, but the one I remember the most, and I've talked about it before, when it came to trying out for the football team at this dear here school of Buffalo State University, I did not have a meal the entire day, and I figured, you know what, a nice little roll of spicy California sushi would fuel the tank. And I later found out that sushi does not taste good when it is re-entering your palate after you have digested it. And found myself dog walking to the corner of the end zone and taking all of that goodness from Sushi Do and nourishing the turf field.
I'll tell you what, though. Sushi Do makes some good sushi.
Oh, my God.
Shout out
so good.
Sushi Do at Buffalo State.
If I... Next semester, if I come back to the school and I walk in here and there are retail renovations and that place is gone, I'm immediately transferring. I don't care where. I'm going anywhere else. You're getting rid of the best option, all right?
You cannot get rid of that.
Literally.
That's literally my go-to.
If I leave, the food options would immediately improve, and so would the sports teams.
Better than Wegmans sushi.
It's so good. The sushi's good. The
sushi,
ramen's good.
Oh my God.
The bowls are good.
Oh my God. Dan's going to be listening back to this like, what? They're not even talking sports.
We're not talking about sports. We're talking about bowls. You know what kind of bowls? Rolls bowls.
Super bowls.
All the bowls.
Oh my gosh. No, but we got, I know Justin said not to talk about it.
What?
But I mean, I don't know anything about the draft. Like the players coming out. I don't know. I mean, I know like probably the famous ones, like Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And then you got Drake May from UNC, I think.
It's a loaded QB class. There's a lot of good. And wide receivers. Not loaded, but like there's some good QBs. There's some really good receivers. Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze. Again, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing, that this draft was like more of a wide receiver draft.
Yeah, pick anyone from Ole Miss. If it was their first or second string, they're probably going to they're paying out decently because Ole Miss they're not a wide receiver school, but like they can pump out a decent receiver almost every single year. I don't know why that's happened, but ever since AJ Brown and like Elijah Mitchell, I've taken a lot of notice to the fact that they just pump out at least a singular good receiver every single draft, at least one. Mm-hmm. So if you see your team pick an Ole Miss receiver that you have no idea who he is,
just assume they're going to be good.
Don't cut your breath short. He's probably going to at least be pretty decent. So, you'll have an option there on your team for, maybe a couple of years. But defensively, I know Jack. Offensive linely, I know there's some pretty good ones, but in the NFL, I already don't really pay attention to offensive line. So, I mean, I'm not going to do it in college. Again, with the quarterbacks, there's a handful of good ones. They are rather old. Like three of them are like 23 plus, which is very strange. And not uncommon, but strange that in this draft alone, there's
could be
three of them.
Stenson Bennett.
Yeah, oh my God.
25, 26 coming out of
25 and starting his rookie year behind Matthew Stafford. Oh wow, that paper bag's loud.
Oh man,
well, that one was great. And then he didn't play a snap the entire season. I
think
he came in like garbage time once.
Oh, I could correct me if I'm wrong, but like, didn't he like have to like take a break or something? Like he left like halfway through the season, I guess, to work on some personal
his mortgage
stuff. I guess it could be.
He had to take out a 401k. Is that what he had to do?
It might be a possibility.
Maybe he was having speech issues.
No, but that draft is what, in like 12 days?
It is.
Oh my gosh.
The NFL draft is
the 29th, right? Is the first day?
Or
the 28th?
Find out.
I got my laptop right here.
Let's see if my phone's fast on this laptop.
Let's see.
NFL If I type "not gonna lie" the abbreviation one more time while trying to spell NFL on my phone, I'm just gonna get a bigger
NFL draft. The 25th. You're right.
25th, 27th in the good old city of Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. You think they're gonna have mom spaghetti over there?
I've heard it's terrible. Because
really,
my girlfriend's from Michigan, and we went during spring break. I enjoyed it. There wasn't much to do because it was spring break. Our schools is like a week after everyone else's, so all of her friends that I was going to meet, well, majority of them, they were back in school. And it was also where it's right on the lake, so it was windy and it was gray, so there wasn't much to do outside, but there was still a lot of fun to be had, and fun we did have. But we didn't go to Mom's Spaghetti because she was telling me it is literally god awful, and her experience replicates that. So to the city of Detroit, get it together.
Isn't that Eminem's like?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he doesn't have to care. He does. It's just like it's more for the gimmick. Not like going to be very honest. It is more for the gimmick.
Yeah.
But speaking of Detroit and that area, the way they have their sports stadiums is so odd to me. They're extremely close together.
What?
Ford Field is across the street, not like a parking lot away, not a couple blocks. The other street, right next to it, the Detroit Tigers play. A bridge and a block away is Little Caesars Arena. All three of them are within walking distance of each other.
That's kind of the same as Philly.
Really?
I've been to Lincoln Financial. I've also been to the bank, Citizens Bank Park. They're literally all like, you can walk to all of them.
That's like, I don't know why that feels like a foreign concept to me. That just feels like a foreign. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, because
Yankee Stadium's in the Bronx.
Literally have,
Yankee Stadium's in the Bronx. City Field is, I forget where, but it's
City. I think isn't it in Queens?
Yeah, City Field's in Queens.
Yeah,
Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden is in the heart, pretty much.
Manhattan.
Manhattan
or
and
downtown.
Rangers are playing there as well. Brooklyn Nets, obviously Brooklyn, Barclays Center. Jets and Giants are literally in a different state. Buffalo Bills are all the way up here, along with the Sabres. I mean, it's extremely spread apart. So when I see like, it's not the fact that like stadiums being that close. It's just the fact that it's a city and you can put all of your sports stadiums that close. And sometimes it makes me question, like, maybe that's the reason they're not packing out. Like, maybe they stink, or maybe there's other underlying issues or whatnot. But maybe sometimes it's just the fact that they're just too close. People can't get to them. People can't park there. People can't stay there. It's just too. It also eliminates tailgating.
Yeah,
it immediately eliminates. Well, the Lions have like a
tailgate, but like
the Lions have like a big parking lot, but like it'd be awkward. But like they can. It's just. It wouldn't really look that. It would look a little weird because like one stadium would be full and everyone's standing outside of it, Lions merch, and then across the street you got the Tigers, and then, like you can't really tailgate a baseball game, especially if there's two other stadiums right next to you. You can't really tailgate.
That really gives me a good thing.
What?
Like you made me think
there,
about now that you brought up state. We got someone joining us.
I was waiting for you to notice.
My class ended early.
Hold on.
Turn his mic on now.
I got to turn it. Introducing Mr. Alex Miley. Alex, how are you doing today, bud?
Doing great. My class just ended early, so I have a little extra time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was 5 of us, and then Dan and Frank left like 10 minutes in.
Evan might be coming soon to join us because he was in my class and asked him if he was coming. He sounded like he might.
Okay. Some more people.
Yeah, probably tell them to go in the studio. Yeah. Just so it's easier, so everyone has a mic.
Yeah, but
whatever works.
No, we were talking about stadiums and like layouts and stuff like that, but Spike, that brought me up to a good point because I used to live in North Carolina and I went to Hurricanes games when they played, Sabres or the Flyers, and their stadium is in Raleigh, which is like, it's one way, and then you have the Carolina Panthers playing in Charlotte, which is the total opposite direction.
Yeah, I've only been to I've been to Carolina once, North Carolina. It was like a road trip, and it was late at night. So we saw the Panther Stadium on one complete other side, and then we went into the city a bit just to get something to eat and use the restrooms. And then we saw that, like, the Hornets and Cavaliers are playing a basketball game like 15 minutes from us. But we just saw the Panther Stadium like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
it's that far. Damn. At least Buffalo, like, they're different parts, but it's within a 20-minute drive. You just hop on the 5 and boom.
It's like right there.
Yeah, that's
if they have signs to them.
But. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was talking to Spike about because I've been to the Lincoln Financial Field and Citizens Bank Park. They're all like across the road. Like they're all in walking distance next to each other.
That's how it is with Cleveland. I know at least with the Indians
and the Cavs. I went for an Indians game, and it was right there. And I don't think the Browns are too far from there either.
Yeah, driving past it on my spring break road trip, I saw the Cavs stadium, I forget the name, and the Guardian stadium. They were neck and neck.
Yeah.
They were basically touching.
Yeah, you can see it, like I'm in the Guardian, and I can see the Cavs one right there.
If they had a glass roof, you could probably watch both of the games at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, that's how close those stadiums are. And I say Detroit's are close, but like that, those two are practically sharing
Detroit's
the
aren't
building.
as close. I went to Ford Field for a game, and I don't remember the Pistons or anything being like right next to it, but it was kind of close.
Yeah, the Pistons are like around the corner, so they're like across a bridge and then like a block or two down, and then there's like a building or two like in front of it, so it's harder to see their stadium. Their stadium's also like in the ground. Like where they play, it's in the ground, so it's not really built up high. Like, say, example, Madison Square Garden. It's built upward. The Little Caesars Arena, it kind of looks like just like a regular office building that's like just slightly taller. But then you go in and the stadium is so much bigger because where they play and the stands and everything, they're built downward. So the top is more focused on memorabilia, the team's history, the merchandise, store, food places, the raffles, all that good stuff on the outside of the stadium. And then they dip deep down. You're like, whoa, this place is a lot bigger than it looks like. But that's why it's kind of harder to see. But it's like right there near those two stadiums.
Oh, yep. Here's Evan.
He's making his way.
Yeah, he popped his head through the window. I don't know if he's opening up the door.
He probably saw me in here going into the other room. But
he is.
So what else should we talk about?
I
know before Alex, before you came in, we had some basketball talk. I don't know if you want to.
I mean, I'm down, or we if we want to do some hockey talk, they basically
they
fired
fired
everything up.
Don Granato.
Granato. I'm very happy about
how
that.
That is.
Yeah. I think there's a couple people in mind for the Sabres to hire. Adams in his presser made it pretty obvious that they're going to do a retread coach. Lindy Ruff is probably right now the favorite. Obviously, he's coached in Buffalo before, being that veteran guy to help with the young team. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I mean, I wouldn't hate it as much as I used to. Not the biggest fan. I really hope maybe Carolina kind of flunks in the playoffs and they don't bring back Brindamore. I would love to see Rod Brindamore come here. He played with Kevin Adams for like 7 years in Carolina, so they have that connection. He's the veteran guy, would bring great defense to the team, which they've been lacking, while not absolutely killing the offense, because Carolina still puts a lot of shots on that. They don't have a lot of good finishers, but the Sabres do. Thompson, Paterka, Benson's really good around the net. So I think he would fit us really well and help that defense go to the next level. And with the goaltending we have, if we could get better defense, it could be pretty scary.
Have Sean and Dan switch places. Sean McDermott go coach some hockey and have Dan go coach some football. See if they get any better. Let's figure it out that way. The easy way. Just have them switch sports. Let them figure it out until somebody wins something.
It's Buffalo. It just probably will end it. Yeah, it's going to end in heartbreak.
It would literally be the exact same.
I hate it, but it's just more heartbreak.
They switch coaching.
Well,
switch teams.
Just want to add on, though, to let the people know we got another person joining us. Familiar face. Mr. Evan Harrington himself.
Yep. As they say, the face that is made for radio is back in studio.
Oh, don't say
the voice made for radio.
The voice made for radio. The face made for radio. They say I got a face for radio.
You have a face for everything, buddy. You have a voice for it.
Thank you.
Saying someone.
How are you not famous yet?
Well, if you count like 8,000 TikTok followers, then famous.
That's pretty famous.
One point I was famous on TikTok. I had one video. I had one video, going back into the COVID TikTok lore. 3.5 million views. It was a reaction video.
Nice.
It was before I started doing football content.
Okay.
I sat there reacting to it was just like people like running around. I was like, man, look at the view. And the video was so like the video that I reacted to was so like prominent and so popular that my reaction had nothing to do with the video. But people just like to see the video, and that's why I got views. It got like 200,000 likes and 3.5 million views or something like that.
That's sick.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never made a TikTok video. I have TikTok.
I don't even have TikTok.
I spend hours on it a day, but never made a video.
I wonder if like one day I want to like just walk through the streets and someone comes up to me in public and goes, You're that guy.
You're that guy from TikTok.
You're that guy that was in their reaction video and you added nothing to it. But you were in there. You were in there.
All right. Well, we were Alex was just talking about his input on the Don Granato firing. Evan, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty simple in my opinion. It's another coach that did not work out here. But I want to say that I do think Don Granato laid a blueprint here in Buffalo that when the next coach comes to Buffalo and ultimately, hopefully, succeeds with the Sabres, I hope a lot of people don't forget the blueprint and the foundation that was laid out by Granato. You can say what you want about Granato, about his defensive tendencies or what he did or did not do to get us to the playoffs, but the one thing you can't forget is what he did for the player development of this team. What he did for a guy like Tage Thompson. What he did for a guy like Rasmus Dahlin. 2 franchise cornerstone players that will be on this team for the next 5+ years at least. That should be pivotal players and pieces in the Sabres movement back to the playoffs. Don Granato, if Don Granato's not the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, Tage Thompson is probably a permanent third line or bottom player. I mean, this is what it is. Don Granato was the coach, the essential piece to Tage Thompson's development. Now Tage ultimately did things in the offseason and worked on his craft and became the player that he is today. But if you don't have a coach like Granato, who's very good for player development, I don't think Thompson puts up 94 points. I don't think Thompson's even a 30-goal scorer in this league. I really don't think so. I don't. Rasmus Dahlin, I'm not saying Rasmus Dahlin was not a good player before Granato came here, but there were still little tendencies and a little struggles in Dahlin's game. And you can bring in a guy like Granato that helps you open up your offense side of the game. I mean, Alex, would you agree with me that Dahlin's best 2 offensive seasons were under Granato?
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. I understand.
And also guys like Tuck.
Yeah.
Like Tuck also. I mean, yes, mind you, Tuck was a middle 6 forward in Vegas, mainly a third liner. But he comes here and is a brand new player. Jeff Skinner.
His career was completely revived by Granato.
I mean, Granato helped the core foundation of this team. A lot of these players respected and loved the way Granato coached and the way he was with them as a personal person. Now, at the end, do I think Granato was the coach to get us to the playoffs? I think with the right roster, I think he could have made it in. I'm not saying that he was a shoo-in. I'm not saying he was the coach that was definitely going to get us in. The only reason I say so is that the Buffalo Sabres were 1 point out of the playoffs last year. You can't tell me in the right year, the right circumstances, they don't make it in. You know, look at the way the Washington Capitals just made it in.
Yeah, with the worst goal differential?
Yeah, it was negative 35, I think.
It was negative 37. Yeah,
it got worse. Cool.
Yeah, we had more
worse.
regulation wins
got worse.
and a better goal differential, and we were 7 points out.
Granato was a good enough
games.
Granato was a good enough coach to get the Sabres to the playoffs, but just not in this year. And going forward, Kevin Adams and the ownership wanted results now.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. It's still a young team, but at the same time, you can only be young for so long. Everyone's got to grow up in life. And simply put, the Buffalo Sabres had to grow up. And that is what Don Granato or Kevin Adams wanted. And he said in his presser, it's we can't be young anymore. We just simply can't be young anymore.
Yeah.
We have to be more than that. And that is going to be moving off the young coach. Now, Granato himself isn't young, but Granato is a young coach. He is a young coach experience-wise. He's a young coach the way he coaches. That aspect can only carry you so long. I think, again, it was good enough to get the Sabres to the playoffs in the right year. But, again, Kevin Adams and the higher personnel is looking for that for sure shoe-in coach to get you to the playoffs. And that's what they're going to go after with the next coach. They're going to find the right guy. They're going to find the coach that's going to lay down the hammer in between periods, before the games, after the games, win, loss, or draw. They're going to try to find that next coach. And I think that was the right approach. Do I think firing Don Granato was ultimately the needed move? No, I still think there's other things to this team that need to be addressed before the coaching change. But at the same time, it's much easier to move off of a coach than it is to just restructure your roster. I mean, that's just how it is. How many coaches have the Buffalo Sabres been through since the drought?
7.
7.
Jesus.
That's a lot of coaches.
7 coaches. This is our 4th GM cycle since the drought.
That's insane.
Wow.
Adams is the 4th one.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty rough in Buffalo, and I would have to agree with everything you've said, Evan. I know I've been pretty hard on Granato, but one thing I can't take away from is that development. I think he's a great developmental coach. I just don't think he's the coach to get him over the hump. I think it was needed to move off of him. But as hard as I have been on him this year, I do want to give him his flowers for the development, as you said, with Thompson, Dolly, and reviving Skinner's career, helping develop players like Cousins and Quinn, Paterka. Benson this year had a great rookie year. I think he has done a great job of getting their offensive talent maximized. But I think just you can't go 4 years and you can't play this many games without making the playoffs and keep your job. I just think it was time to move off. Hopefully they bring in the right guy to help get him over the hump, and I trust Kevin Adams to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, going forward, once again, like you mentioned, the amount of games, and that's what Kevin Adams is looking for. I do think the Sabres could have made the playoffs next year with Don Granato as their head coach. I mean, there's nothing telling me they couldn't. If you're only going to look at this year and tell me they couldn't have made it with Don Granato, I don't fully agree with that viewpoint, because last year's team was a point out with inexperience that just shouldn't have been there. The Sabres shouldn't have been a point out.
Yeah, that's fair.
They were a team with bad goaltending, bad defense. They just had a hyper explosive offense. They weren't a good hockey team. They just weren't.
That's fair. I agree with that.
This year's team was a more well-rounded team. They were playing in close games. They had good goaltending. They had, serviceable defense. It was a more well-rounded team than last year. Like in a 7-game series, I would take this year's Sabres team over last year's Sabres team in a 7-game series, just because I think it was a more well-rounded team. But at the end of the day, production matters. Producing matters. Points at the end of the day matters. And that is something that the Sabres team didn't do. And once again, they want the playoffs. Now, again, our fan base is hungry, rightfully so. It's been 13 years, rightfully so. The owners, Terry Pagula, the Pagulas, they're hungry. I get it, rightfully so. They want the shoe-in. That is the thing, the shoe-in. They want the 100% guarantee. They want the guy who's going to come in and give them the sales pitch that there will be a 100% guarantee that the Buffalo Sabres are a playoff team by next season, not in 2 years, because that was the sales pitch with Don Granato here in Buffalo. It was, all right, we'll be there soon. We're going to give you the extension before you even made the playoffs, all right? Because we know there's a good chance you'll get there. That's why they gave him the extension. And again, I think it was a fair extension at the time. I don't think any of that was wrong. But again, the Sabres want the shoe-in coach, and that's why I think they moved off Don Granato, is because maybe they were 65-35. 65 maybe will make it. 35 no. They want to be 100%. And that's what I don't think they were with Don Granato.
So with this coaching change that the Sabres are going to make, as Sabres fans yourself, do you guys have do you think anyone's going to get traded that you would like to see traded, or are there any free agents out there that you would like to see them sign for this upcoming season with the new coach at the helm?
There's, I guess, maybe not anyone specific in mind yet. I'm going to have to look into a little bit more. But a two-way second center. I think Cousins is better suited as a forward. I think when he was playing on the junior level, in those tournaments, a lot of times they put him at forward, and he was playing really well there. He's not enough of a playmaker. He struggles a lot of times with passing. He tries to do too much, and I think as a center, you can't have that. And with how disappointing the season was, maybe they try to trade off him, because I don't even know if he's a top 4 winger on the team, and you can't really pay $7 million to a third line. So maybe they look to trade him off to get a better second line center, or get a second line center and then trade him to get a better right shot defenseman, because that's also a need. But I think our first line's set, and if they bring back Gergensen, our fourth line's mostly set with him and Greenway, and then you just fill in any center here. But I think the middle six could definitely use a little work, and then maybe try to upgrade over Samuelson as that second line right shot to pair with Byram just because Samuelson can't stay healthy. But yeah, there's not any specific names in mind yet. I'd have to look into it a little more.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the coaches, obviously, some names that come to mind is Lindy Ruff. Coming back to Buffalo, I remember in 2019 he had an interview and he never ruled it out that he wouldn't mind coming back to Buffalo for a reunion. And we know Lindy very well. It's a well-respected mind.
Still has a house here.
Yes, has a house here. Good point. And is well-respected in the hockey world and definitely would bring what Kevin Adams is looking for in experience. But that does rule out someone like Seth Appert from Rochester. I mean, the Americans have made the playoffs the last 3 seasons. And I wouldn't be opposed to a guy like Seth Appert coming up from Rochester up to Buffalo just because he's very used to guys like Quinn, Peterka, Cooley will be up here, Rosen potentially. Krebs has played games down there. Devin Levi. There's been guys who've been up from Buffalo and Rochester within that 3-year span that Appert has a good relationship with. But once again, Kevin Adams has alluded to the fact we want experience.
Yeah.
And sorry, yes, he's got some experience in the AHL, but when you come up to the NHL, this is a completely different league. It's a different dogfight, and I just don't think that would be best suited for the Sabres. But I mean, there's a tons of coaches that you can look for, like Joel Quenneville, a dark horse. I don't think he's top.
That's a name I haven't heard in a minute.
He's not top 5 on maybe anyone's candidates, but he's a dark horse, But he's been out of the league since 2021. But you never know. You never know, but there's a couple options out there, but it's really, again, it's what Kevin Adams is looking for, experience. So it's going to be a coach that has coached in the league for a while, who has won a lot of games, who's been to the playoffs, not the directional route like the Seth Apperts or the Don Granatos of the world. Kevin Adams is experienced and, went that route, and he's going to have to play a different route because this is Kevin Adams' big move on the chessboard. If this doesn't work out, well, that's it.
You think Kevin Adams might get the...
But what I'm saying is that, if Kevin Adams doesn't find the next right coach, then that's when you reset the GM.
Okay.
Because you really never reset the GM before the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his seat isn't, hot, but I think it may be a little lukewarm. He's done a great job drafting. Obviously, he hasn't really missed on a first-round pick yet, and he's done great with some of these trades. But you're right. If he fails on another coach, I think it may be time they look elsewhere. I don't know if I really want that to happen. I really like Adams, but yeah, if production is really what matters most. So if they still can't make it in the next couple of years, yeah, you'll definitely see him go.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what the Sabres do here. I mean, I know they still got that. Don't they have a press conference or something Friday? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know because they just had a big one with the Granato firing. Where Adams said a lot there. He was cooking with that press conference. He did a great job. So I don't know if they're gonna have another one with. Maybe I did hear something. Yeah, with exit interviews and stuff like that. I think there might be another one coming up, but it's probably just going to be the repeat of what's been said over the last couple of days. So it's probably not going to be anything new.
Still going to be interesting to see, though, because, I mean, like you guys said, 1 point last year? They were 1 point away from the playoffs.
7
and then
points this year.
I mean, it's just... I watch hockey and then I stop watching hockey. But, I mean, it's just, what can you really do? I mean... I'm not 100% sure on this whole Sabres, roster. I only know a handful of players, but I just feel like experience has got to be a main thing for this roster and what kind of players they bring in.
Yeah, they definitely need to bring in some outside. There's too much just homegrown talent. We need to bring in some players from other teams that can bring in other cultures and other ways of doing things. Because if you have too many people doing something the same way,
yeah, homegrown talent is nice to have.
Yeah,
and all, but
you definitely want a lot of it, but we need some veteran leadership from outside. Because I mean, you got Tuck from Vegas, but he wasn't really it then. there's not really much else. Greenway, I guess, kind of from Minnesota, and Byram from the Avalanche. But I think they need to go in either through a trade or free agency. I think they need to go and land a big name guy to really help really change the. And I mean, obviously, a new coach will go a long way. But I think getting a top center, a 2C, I think is really their biggest need. Bring in someone new that'll help shake things up a little bit. Because they have so many prospects. They have, obviously, all their picks. There's not enough room for all of it. So they're going to, some of them, instead of letting them walk for nothing in a couple years after they sit in the AHL or whatever, you're going to trade them and get as much value out of them as you can, because we have maybe 2 or 3 open spots on our team, down the road, future-wise. The rest are kind of locked up. And then we have 5 good prospects. There's just not room for all of them.
Yeah, time will only tell, right?
Yeah.
Time will really only tell. But would you guys want to see UPL or Devin Levi as the starter next year?
Alex can kick that one off.
I mean, I want to see both. I would like to see maybe a 50-30 split, because I think UPL should maybe get the 50 right now, as he's the more experienced, just had a really good year. But you saw at the end of the year, they were starting him every single game.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, the wheels just fell off. And he was not good the last couple of weeks. Levi came in for a couple games, and he was absolutely lights out. The Vancouver game was one of the best games I've ever seen a goalie play. He's had 4 or 5 goals saved above expected. It was absolutely insane. He was really good. Those 2 or 3 games he came up. And yeah, UPL, he had that stretch from in January and February where he was playing like a Vezina caliber goalie, but because you couldn't play Comrie because Comrie's terrible. So
they won with Eric Comrie in their final game.
Yeah, in a meaningless game where Tampa also had nothing to play for.
Last year when Eric Comrie was given games, he played 18 or 16 games. He went 8-8.
Yeah, but
500 goaltender.
Yeah, but
you can't complain with that.
UPL also had a decent record last year, but we can all agree he wasn't good last year.
No. Comrie was mid, man.
Yeah, Comrie was all right-ish, not really good last year. This year, basically, besides the Tampa game, he was 1-5 and a 8.8 save percentage. He was bad this year. That they just stopped playing him. They just said we'll just ride UPL until the tires fell off, because even 70% UPL was better than Comrie. So I would like to see a 50-30, 50-32 split like that, where UPL gets most, but you still put in Levi a lot, just to put the pressure off UPL so he doesn't have to start every game and he doesn't get worn out by the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, your dream scenario would be to have the Vezina caliber goaltender, like we used to have here in a Ryan Miller or a Dominic Hasek, right? Do I think Luukkonen or Levi will ever become one of those 2 goalies? I don't think so fully. I still think I think both of them will be really good NHL goalies, and they will do good things in this league for many years. But I kind of agree with Alex a little bit there. I do think going into next season, Luukkonen will be the guy that will start off with the most amount of games.
My fault. I've never done the phone.
Oh, we're getting a call?
Yeah, we got a call.
I heard a light pause, and I look up through from my Instagram reel scrolling.
Hopefully he doesn't hang it up this time on accident.
Put you on the phone. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, but I mean, the only time I really saw UPL it was a couple times. So I've seen him at his highest, and then I've seen him at his lowest. Example, that Ottawa game that I went to, where he got 5 on him in the first period.
Yeah, was that
it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. No, that was one of those games, the Edmonton game, where it just kind of fell apart. But then you also have the league high 5 shutouts this year, which was pretty impressive too. He had games like the Islanders game 2 weeks before that where they shut him out and he was electric.
All right. So we do have a phone call. James from Kenmore. James, how are you doing over there?
You know what? I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday?
Yeah, It is hump day.
It's Whopper Wednesday, guys. Go to your local Burger King and get a Whopper.
You're eating a Subway sub.
Wait, no, I heard you talking about the Sabres. Oh, goodness. I heard you guys talking about the Sabres, and I just have one thing to say. You're never winning the Atlantic Division again. This is Florida Panthers territory.
Hey, James.
This guy.
We'll let Frank on the phone.
James, do you mind to know another guy with 5 letters in their name and happens to reside in the Kenmore Amherst area as well?
Perhaps. I think we're...
Does he wear glasses?
Occasionally.
Wear some awkward sports teams hats?
Oh, occasionally.
Were they in the Buffalo State radio room this morning, this afternoon, and had to leave within the first 5 minutes?
Perhaps
that
they
bum?
were.
Is this a familiar foe in Frank the Tank Lopez on the phone, impersonating to be James from Kenmore?
You're goddamn right it is.
You're bamboozled.
Get fooled. Just like how the Sabres were fooled early in the season thinking they had a shot.
All right, get this guy off the phone.
Matthew Tkachuk owns your entire
All right,
franchise.
yeah.
All right, guys, have a good show. Love you.
Bye, buddy.
All right, yeah. James from Kenmore.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to
Damn.
lose in the first round to Tampa.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
that'll
insight,
be
James.
funny watching Nikita Kucherov own their franchise.
Thank you, James, for the call. Though it was really it was nice. Great phone call.
Never again. James from
There's
Kenmore.
gonna be like
James is
someone
banned.
actually named
Yeah.
James from Kenmore that calls one day, and we're just gonna be like, nope.
No,
you're not.
this
Yeah,
could be a
nice
guy,
try, Frank.
There's gonna be a guy flipping through the stations, and he's gonna stumble upon this one. Oh, 91.3 FM. Wonder what this station is listening to the Blitz, and we're like, James from Kenmore, no more. It's gonna be some like random guy, James from Kenmore, just stumbled upon our station. He's gonna be like, oh, I wanted to call in today. James from Kenmore, no more.
No more.
But
You've been
yeah,
banned.
going back to the Levi Luukkonen conversation before James called in, just agreeing with Alex there about the 50-30 split that would particularly happen next season with Luukkonen playing the 50 games and Levi playing 30 to 32 games or however that split goes about. I think that's something that realistically could happen just because, once again, I definitely agree with what you said, Alex, that when Luukkonen started getting comfortable and he started playing like he was between the months of, January and February, and he was playing like that Vezina goaltender, once the game started like piling up on Luukkonen, like you said, we started to see the wear and tear actually take place. And Luukkonen wasn't playing the greatest hockey compared to what he was doing in the previous 2 months. And if you have a guy like Levi that can take an immense amount of stress and wear and tear off of Luukkonen's body, then that's huge, because that will only make your goaltending situation a lot better. And that's the type of duo the Buffalo Sabres are going to have. When you take a look at a team like the Boston Bruins, they have Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. Now, I'm not saying that Luukkonen's going to be Linus Ullmark and have that Vezina caliber year, but Linus Ullmark could be your 1A goalie, and then you can have a guy like Devin Levi that could be a very capable 1B goalie towards the backup at Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So the Sabres have a very, very prominent duo in front of them in Levi and Luukkonen, and it's really going to be up to how they see put, how they split the games. But I do think Luukkonen will be the guy going into next year.
All right. Do they have the playoff seedings? Is it set officially, or are they still?
At least the East is completely set. I think,
but the West isn't.
I think the West can get a little more, because I think the Kings and Vegas can still switch. But yeah, the East is completely set. With it being the Rangers versus the Capitals, Florida versus Tampa, Boston versus Toronto, and Carolina versus the Islanders. But in the West, I think really the only changes is Vegas and LA, because Vegas has 98 and LA has 97. They each have a game left. So if Vegas loses to Anaheim and the Kings beat the Blackhawks, they can jump back into that third spot. But it looks like everything else, I'm not sure, maybe about Nashville and LA. I don't know who has the tiebreaker, but it looks like it's Nashville because I think it's regulation wins. So I think the Kings, if they do stay in the wild card, would stay as the second one, but I'm not positive on that.
Okay. Did you guys want to give, because we only got like about 10 minutes left, you want to give you like your picks for that Eastern side?
Yeah, sure. I think coming out, I think it's going to be. I think Florida's going to beat Tampa probably in 7. I see that game. That series going far. I think it's a toss up. Florida's the better team, but Tampa, as we've seen in previous playoffs, they can go on runs. They do have the experience. Nikita Kucherov's playing like an MVP. It's really between him and Nathan McKinnon. So he could carry. And we've seen playoff Vasilevsky before be like that. So I could see either way, but I'll go Florida in 7. The Rangers, I think, sweep the Capitals. The Capitals suck. It's kind of stupid that they made it in.
Rangers are going to lose. They got the President's Trophy. Right, Spike?
Carolina beats the Islanders in 5. Boston beats Toronto in 6 or 7, and then Florida beats Boston. Carolina. I think the Rangers do lose to Carolina in the second round.
Nope.
Just because I think Carolina has that playoff experience. I think they're a little deeper than the Rangers. And then I think Florida ends up making it out of the East. I think as much as it would be funny to see them lose.
You hear that, Frank?
Yeah. Well,
you hear that, James?
After James's phone call, it'd make me laugh a little bit if Florida lost. But I think that team, that they're so deep. Their top 3 lines are also very elite. And then they have Bravovsky, who's been playing elite this year. Their defense core. I saw a stat earlier when I think it was Barkov and Forsling. They've played 450 minutes together on ice. They've allowed 9 goals when they're on the ice. That's absurd. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy how deep their team.
Like the whole season.
Yes, they've played only when they're on the ice. 450 minutes played together. They've allowed 9 goals.
That's insanity.
Yeah, the defense there is insane. Obviously, Reinhardt's a 50-goal scorer. Tkachuk. They just got Tarasenko, and then on defense they got players like Ekblad. They're just so deep. I really don't see them losing until the Cup Finals. I don't think they win it all. I think Dallas wins it, but
you got Dallas winning it.
Yeah, I think the Stars are. I think they're even deeper than Florida. I think they're a little bit better. So it's going to be a really good series. But I think Dallas ends up winning it all this year. I just think they're just so good.
So out of the East side, you're thinking Florida's going to make it all the way to the final? Okay, yeah. Okay. So Florida-Dallas is your final?
Yeah.
Spike?
The Rangers are going to beat everyone. They're going to play everyone, and they're going to beat all of them. It's not going to be close. They're going to forfeit after the third game after we stomp them. It's going to be a clean sweep of every single player that isn't in our New York Rangers jersey. They're all going to be sent home crying and weeping to their mothers, cradling in their arms, knowing that the New York Rangers are going to take their beautiful sticks and spank them.
So are they going to be the first team to break the President's Trophy curse?
Probably not.
I mean, yeah, the last time, the last team to win the President's Trophy and win the Cup was 2013 Chicago.
2013?
2013 or 14.
Hey, we got
one of those years. I think it was 13. No,
we got a lot of revivals in New York with stuff that hasn't happened in the last decade. I mean, Knicks winning 50 games also hasn't happened since 2013. So I'm gonna. If you're a betting man. If you're a betting man, bet on all of New York sports to start flipping some scripts and reversing some curses this year. And if I'm wrong, well, that's your money. If you placed a bet, then you're dumb. Can't blame me.
It's not risk-free.
So you listen to me, but if you're wrong, then I didn't tell you jack.
So with the playoffs, it's Tampa and the Panthers, right? In round one?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that series, man, give me Florida. Give me the Florida Panthers. They have been on fire lately. Dude, Sam Reiner's a 60-goal scorer. Like, who?
60? Damn.
Well, he's at 57.
Oh, with one game left. So.
That's
he's gonna get a hat trick.
That's pretty much 60 in my eyes.
We round up here.
I mean, if we're just gonna knock him on like 1 or 2 goals, like it's pretty much 60 goals.
I'm with you on that.
He's been outstanding this year, and he's not even a top 2 player on that team.
Yeah, that is true.
Barkov and Tkachuk.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a guy in Reinhardt scoring, dang near 60. Yeah. And Bobrovsky, if he gets it going in the playoffs, I mean, he's a borderline Hall of Fame goalie. Brandon Montour on the defensive side, and they got a good team, man. And I think, Tampa still has it. They got the experience, obviously. They got Stamkos, Kucherov, Hedman, Vasilevsky. They got a really good team. They have won the Cup, 2 times in the past few years. But I think Florida's time to make another Cup run is now, and they get past Tampa. And then it's Boston and Toronto.
Yeah. No, it's Boston.
I'm going to have to take Toronto on this. I know Boston's at the best of Toronto, but Toronto is just the better team. And I don't think that the choking narrative of Toronto is going to carry on much longer. We saw them get to the second round last year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto makes it a couple rounds deep. They're a good team. They just needed to get this core over the hump. And I think last year kind of allowed that. So then who do we got next? It's the Rangers and
the Rangers and Washington.
Rangers and Washington. Rangers in 5. I'm not gonna think about that one too much. And then it's Carolina and the Islanders. Again, Carolina in 5, 6 maybe, because the Islanders are a tough team to play against. But yeah, after that would lead who? That would lead
Florida versus Toronto and the Rangers versus Carolina.
Florida versus Toronto and Rangers versus Carolina. Give me the Rangers past Carolina and give me Toronto past Florida. And then I think the Rangers make it to the Cup. I really do. Yeah, I see you, Spike, looking up.
You're damn right they do.
Yeah. Just for that, they're losing in 7.
Make it all that way just to lose.
No, but realistically, though, last year, in a lot of people's eyes, you would have thought that the Rangers would have made it. Because adding guys like Tarasenko and Kane at the deadline, along with, Lafreniere and, having Zibanejad and Panarin and all the other guys they have on the team, Adam Fox,
when did
Keandre
they add
Miller.
Jonathan Quick? Was that
great question? I have no idea. He kind of just showed up.
They signed him quick in the offseason.
Yeah, they signed him in the offseason.
Okay.
And they started
with a cheap contract because he was terrible last year. He kind of had a resurgence.
Started the year
now he's great.
8-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's his record, Spike?
I don't know. I don't know hockey that well. I know he's been breaking. He broke a record. What is that record? I do not know, but he broke something.
Or 8 in 27 games, he's 18-6-2.
Like, dude,
with 2.6 goals against and a .911 save percentage.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's great for a New York goalie.
Yeah, I got a quick question for all you guys. Do you guys think Matthews hits 70 tonight?
I think he does. Because I have Toronto making it deep in the playoffs, and I know this sounds a little cliche. I think a lot of Toronto's production is going to base off if Matthews hits 70 tonight. I just think the confidence of Matthews hitting 70 going into the playoffs will be a boost morale for this team.
I think he hits it also. Even though Tampa and Toronto really have nothing to play for, I see Toronto. Yeah, Toronto, because it doesn't matter if they win or lose. I think they just feed him and feed him and feed him to get him 70. Because when was the last time somebody got 70 goals? Like, it doesn't happen.
It hasn't been since 92, 93?
Yeah, what was it? Mario Lemieux when he got it, or
didn't
Brent Hull or
Stamkos
something?
get like 90 one year or something like that?
No, he got like in the 60s. Stamkos and Ovechkin have been close, and then if you look at it era adjusted, they would have, or Ovechkin would have hit it.
Matthews hit 62 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Matthews is one of 9 players in NHL history to hit 60 goals twice.
The 26-year-old, I think that's a center. The 26-year-old center is looking to become the first player to score 70 goals in a campaign since Teemu Selänne. I don't know how to say that. Solani and Alexander. God, can you guys can this league get readable names? Jesus,
Sabres legend Alexander Mulgini.
They both registered 76 goals back in 92-93.
Yeah,
wow, Jesus.
Yeah, Mulgini did it for the Sabres.
Mulgini, just have a last name like Stevens,
more Lingy, or however they pronounce it.
Have a Hall or two. Have a couple of sauces in there.
You'd be a fan of the Rangers.
Maybe a Brunson, or a couple of Josh Harts and Isaiah Hartensteins. And let's go Knicks.
I think you guys know what time it is.
It's 4:00.
It is that time. It's 4:00. And that being said,
push the button.
Whoa, hold on there.
Oh, sorry.
But that being said, you've been listening to the Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY. Gonna play that outro for you.
There it is.
You can follow me on X and TikTok. I post daily at jbach22.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ebanosby. No caps, no spaces, no nothing.
Twitter. I got a little funny one, Splunk, SPLU_NK.
And myself, Evan Harrington. You can find me on Instagram at EvanHarrington_63 and on Twitter at EvanH.
You can follow me on X at _D capital WNOY.
You can follow me on Instagram at FrankLopez_561 or on X/Twitter at Frank561Lopez.
You can follow me at Twitter, X, whatever you still like to call it, at DJacobello17.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for joining us on this Wacky Wednesday.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY.